I'm Madeleine Harvey, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today. What I thought we may unpack and explore a little bit is a source of anxiety for a lot of singers, and that is pitch. What is it? Why is it so hard sometimes? And what can we do to be more consistent and more reliable with respect to pitch? So if you like today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up or click that subscribe button below. I would love to see you here more often. So just in simple terms, pitch is an exact frequency. Now, notice that underscore of exact. It either is or it isn't. And that is very anxiety inducing in a lot of singers because they want their voices to be reliable, but at the same time, they don't want their voices to be robotic. Yeah, I understand that. So we've got to treat our voice in the very same way that like a violinist player treats their violin or a guitar player treats their guitar. Before they pick it up to play it, especially if it's been a little while, they have to tune it. Now, why? Because the instrument is affected by its environment, much like us. We are totally different from one day to the next. And if we can bring into our study, if we can bring into our practice a fine-tuning, just a curiosity, just a value, a standard of fine-tuning, then that will ripple into every area of the voice. It's not just pitch, it's also something like control and strength and expression, all those wonderful things. Now let's talk really quickly as to what singers are doing sometimes that actually works against their ability to sing more reliably on pitch. And it's a little bit of a paradox, meaning that both opposites are true. So what are singers doing that can kind of work against them? Well, they sing along with other singers. It's how we learn, but it's also what sabotages our voice. So let me explain just a little bit. Now let's say that you're singing a song, and you know the song, but you kind of don't know the song, but you kind of know the song. So you sing along with the artist. What's happening if you just sing along is that your ear and your voice are kind of half doing their job. Your ear it hears a pattern, it discerns that melodies are based on pattern, but it can't zero in at exactly what that pitch is. Now, why? Because we have input and we have output, and we're trying to do both of them at the same time. That's what I'm looking for, at the same time. We need to be able to do one and then the other because the ear bone is connected to the voice bone, but it needs to be connected. It needs to be engaged and connected and practiced. So the best thing that you can do, instead of just singing over and over and over again with the artist, is to break things down into small bite-sized pieces. This will give your ear the opportunity to really dig in to the subtle variation in the melody, the subtle variance in the expression. It can recognize it. And then that also communicates to the voice exactly what those spaces in between notes are, and that's called an interval. All melodies are based on intervals. Melody goes up, it goes down, goes up, and goes down. And the degree to which it goes up and goes down is called interval. So what we're going to do today is we're going to subtly tune a small interval, which will allow your voice to distinguish between two very close together pitches and feel that space between and really tune between the differences. We're going to sing two notes that are very close to each other, but they're going to feel really far apart. And this is the best way to begin that conversation. Now, I don't know, it escapes me mind if I have already brought this up, but I don't want to forget to bring this up. Please, if you can, use a pitch listening app or software to help you. Because again, you're tuning, you're doing the work, but you need something that helps you give you that frame of reference of where to look, where to aim. So a pitch listening software or an app will show you where you are, or show you the pitch, and then it will show you where you are relative to the pitch. So that way you can just concentrate on the tuning. You don't have to do two things at once. So if you have the capacity to get yourself a pitch listening app or a pitch listening software, do it. Implement it in your practice. It will fine-tune everything. So here we go. We're going to jump in to two pitches that seem relatively close to each other. We're going to start here on A. Now notice, they're right next to each other. Oftentimes, singers will just sort of slur right past pitches that are right next to each other. Or if they don't exactly know the pitch, they'll kind of search for it. And that's when you observe like a small slide going in or a small slide going out. We don't want to do that. We want to go right into it if we can, and then bend up to the next note and then come right back down. So we're learning pitch, but we're also learning control. Very, very, very useful with respect to music. Now, why don't we want to slide all over the place? That's a wonderful question. It's a legit question. We don't want to search for our pitch because we simply don't have time to. Songs move in a beats per minute or a tempo, right? So if we're trying to find, if our voice is trying to slide into the original pitch, but we're already moved on to the next pitch, then it's always going to slide, 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 slide. And it sounds slurry, it sounds sloppy. And that's not at all what we mean. We want to be exact. Remember, pitch is an exact frequency. So we've got to be consistent with how we tune ourselves. So this is where we begin. We're going to do H-U-H, huh, because it allows us to not hold on to anything with respect to an articulator or anything. And it also allows us to feel the chord and the breath sort of working together. You'll be able to feel the differences between the pitches. And we are going to slide in between the pitches just to feel that they are different from each other. And then why this is important is it teaches a subtle, we're kind of dialing it in. We're getting into that feeling of exactness by creating small micro movements. So we're just gonna bend. But I'm gonna play it. We're gonna actively listen, and then we'll do it together a cappella. So if you have your pitch listening app or pitch listening software, pull it up and let's get it going. So we're gonna start right here. I'll play it again for you. Can you still hear it? Here we go. Now, these two notes are right next to each other, but we're feeling, wow, Oh, there is subtlety between them and there's space between them. Now, by fine-tuning the muscles to be able to perceive that space, you can control that space. You see where I'm going with this? Let me play it. Good. Very, very, very good. Now, again, you're free. You're free to pause this video at any point. If it's too high, drop out. If it's too low, wait to come in later. You can customize this exercise to fit your voice type. But the important thing is that you want to go as slowly as possible. You want to be as exact as you can. If you notice that your app starts listening to you and your onset of sound is like moving all over the place, that's okay. That's okay. The thing that is so anxiety inducing about pitch is that singers will tie their voices into knots to try to get it right. And we don't want to do that either. We want to be both focused and spontaneous. And both of those things take a little time to develop. So go easy with yourself. And if you struggle, or if you find pitch challenging, do not despair. Again, this is an exact frequency. So go easy on yourself. Be kind to yourself. Work with tiny intervals every day. If you can get the differences between those two pitches, then you can start to increase the interval if you want to. But move at a pace that feels comfortable for you. And when you're practicing your songs, also see if you can work in smaller chunks. Treat the verse as a different segment than the chorus, so practice just the verse. You will notice that your voice gets incredibly clear and accurate and reliable. Beautiful, beautiful pitch control will come just by doing something small. Bite-sized pieces. Work in tiny increments and work slowly. What you can do slow, you can do fast. So there you have it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please be sure to give it a thumbs up or click that subscribe button below. I would love to see you here more often. I love you guys. I love you so much. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye.